Staying confident group throughout. And Angel.
Shout out to Angel Reese, okay? Winner over at LSU. And what is she telling? What is she telling the people? You can't see me.
To the game, finishing the way she started this season. LSU is staying confident group throughout. And Angel.
I love her. I love her. So as you guys know, Angel Reese was given the "You Can't See Me." We got the ring, okay? Welcome, welcome, welcome. That's how we starting this week on The Block with Jen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am YouTube's and your favorite devil's advocate, okay? Welcome to another episode of On The Block with Jen. I'm Jen. You should be following me on all social media platforms On The Block with Jen, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, On The Block with Jen at Gmail. If you want to contact me or my panelists for any reason, On The Block with Jen at Gmail. That's for business, y'all. Keep the bullshit out of there, okay? This is a business at the end of the day. We are here to entertain and we appreciate the collaborations and the business, okay? On The Block with Jen at Gmail. If you want to support the show with your pockets and remain discreet, what you need to do is hit the Cash App, okay? A lot of people don't like other people seeing where their money goes when they're supporting somebody. That's what on the Block with Jen Cash App is for. That will be between you and I, unless you want me to shout you out and you're sponsoring the show or you want people to know that you're sponsoring the show. Cash App On The Block with Jen. You don't give a damn where people see your money goes. Super chat me, bottom right. Welcome, Jupiter Gone Wild. Mama, I know you're feeling under the weather, so I appreciate that you are here with us. Really, really appreciate you. And hopefully the show will make you feel better. So we are glad you are here. All right, there's a lot to talk about, but we are pressed for time tonight. This is Monday. We're just saying hello. You know what I mean? We're letting the week simmer. So we're giving you a little appetizer for what's coming during the week. I got a lot of shows coming this week already set up that are going to be interesting. So without another further, okay, let's get the queen up here. YB Limited's Lily. How are you, doll?
Okay, I knew this camera was off.
Lily, come on, we're professionals.
I'm in a different studio tonight, and I literally just got here.
No, listen to me. Did you see how I started? I was over here somewhere. And then right, and then I realized, and I said, "Oh shit, hold on. Okay, let's get it together. It's Monday, but we are here for the people. It's Monday. Let's straighten out a little bit, Lee. Let's straighten."
Right, because it's a mess. Like I had a mess, but it's okay. Like,
see, but they love us. They love us, so it's okay. They don't mind that we coming a little crooked on Monday. We're a little crooked on Monday.
And your look is cute, so hey.
Thank you. I'm doing, Lily. I told you. Remember, I text you. I was at Walmart trying other colors.
Yeah, that.
I'm giving brown. I was trying other colors. Okay.
So that particular brown, I have that at home, and I love that on me though. I have to wear it in the middle.
Okay.
But I line it with a darker one, I think, and then I wear it in the middle. But I love how, because I think you have it on your whole lip, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you can wear it on your whole lip. Some colors I can only do in the center.
Yeah. See, you do effects and stuff. I'm just like, okay, I'm just like, what? This will work. I'm like, brown shirt, brown lip. Yay! This is what it's going to be. So when you do the inner brown, because I know my daughter does like different tones and stuff. I don't know how to do that, but so you do brown in the middle, brown lip liner, and then what do you do on the rest of the lip?
So I do a darker brown. I actually don't use pencil lip liner anymore. I use liquid lipstick, and I just take the tip of it like this. This is the one I use actually, and instead of and I don't like too much product on it. So what I do is I kind of just take the excess product off like that.
Okay.
And I just line the outside of my lips, but I go in a little bit more than the line, if that makes sense. You can actually even do the full lip. With a darker color. That's the easier way. Do the full lip and then just take the lighter color, put it in the center, and just dab it like this to kind of blend it in. So that the lines aren't sharp.
You see block? You see block? You never know what you're going to learn here, okay? Lily, now you're a makeup artist by trade. Is that what you do as well?
Yes, that was the first profession that I was in when and I was just talking to my manager. I was saying I really kind of miss it, and I want to go back to doing it a little bit more.
Okay.
Because I only kept like 2 clients because they're like high profile clients, so they're state booked. So I was like, I couldn't at the time. Like I just had so much going on. I couldn't take a bunch of clients. I was like, let me just do 2, and that they can supplement in between modeling gigs.
I love it. Very, very, very smart. Okay, because I was about to shout you out and say, Lily is for hire in New York, biatch. But you're like, I'm keeping the 2 right now.
No, I am. I'm going back.
Okay.
I'm going back. I decided today I'm going back. I'm gonna take on some new clients, makeup. Not many, but I'm taking on more.
Oh, yummy. So we need to do an episode where you're just like teaching the girls and the guys, whoever wants to learn like a nice, you know what I mean, an easy makeup, a day look or a night look. We can do that here. We do it all on the block. This is the block.
I love teaching. I love teaching that.
Yeah, so if you want to do that, we could definitely do that because, you know, a couple people know, a lot of people don't know, but we'll be plugging it for the next 2 weeks. Our Block Talent Battle, Lily. I'm excited.
I am so excited. Like, oh my God, so excited.
All right, guys. So if you haven't heard yet, we are doing a Block Talent Battle with a cash prize, okay? With a cash prize. Now, other channels will have you up here acting a damn fool for shits and giggles. We are actually giving a cash prize. Block Talent Battle, April 15th, 8 p.m. Eastern sharp, okay? We are seeing 10 people only, so you have to, on the block with Jen at Gmail, send us your, very, very simple. And we are picking people who could follow simple directions, because if you're in this business, you have to know how to follow simple directions. So on the block with Jen at Gmail, send a photo and tell us what your talent is, and we'll put you down, okay? April 15th, we're taking 10 people only. And if you don't make it part of the 10, you could wait in the queue or backstage. If somebody flakes, we will pull you up. But there is a cash prize. Now, Lily and I, and maybe our other block panelists, we will be judging and judging harshly. But good for you, we don't get the last word. People that vote for you do. So we can think you suck. But if the audience thinks you're amazing and they throw your name in the comments and you get picked the most, then you will win. We're going to tell you what we think, being in the industry, right? But we just have opinions, right? Like assholes. But the voters will vote you for that win. And we are giving a cash prize. You get 2 minutes up here. Now, I don't know about y'all, but $100 for 2 minutes is some good money.
That's good coinage.
Okay.
And because the audience will be voting, it will be in your best interest to invite as many people to come support you as you possibly can, so you can get that coin. You know, even if you break them off a little something, I don't know how that's gonna work. Y'all figure that out. But bring your people out so that they can help you out.
Hello. I'm like, shit, $100 for 2 minutes. Ain't nobody making that nowhere unless you're an A-lister. So you could come up here, share your talent, and we want to stress any talent will do. I don't care if you do drag. I don't care if you can tie a cherry with your tongue. I don't care if you play the drums, the bongos, the piano, the violin, guitar, if you sing, if you dance. I don't care what you do. If it's a talent, we want to see it, okay? Block Talent Battle, April 15th. Mark your calendars. And if it's not you and you have a friend with a talent that could use $100, let them know. On the block with Jen at Gmail. Send a picture and what your talent is. And, you know, we'll have you up here. You could tell us your story, and then you could give us your talent, and then we will critique, but the audience will vote. And you may get $100 for 2 minutes. That's a good deal.
And this is real deal, because y'all going to be here when we announce. So, you know, this is some real stuff. And I'm so excited because no one's doing it the way we doing it. So when you see it being done, just know where you saw it first, okay?
Thank you. Gracias. Gracias. All right. So, yes, Lily and I will pioneer this. No, Saint, what you sipping on?
I like your haircut.
No, Saint. Hold up. Wait a minute.
He deserves a spotlight.
What we talking about, No Saint?
Yes.
What we doing, No Saint? What we doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No Saint looking like half a snack over there.
Hey.
All right.
You're killing me.
Yes.
All right, wait a minute. Is the block influencing you, no Saint? Is the block influencing you? Can I get an atheist amen up here? Because the church get an atheist amen,
You've
honey.
been hanging out with us too long.
Right.
I
That's
love it. Uh-oh, Miss Ruth said you looking clean, honey.
Oh, thanks, Bruce.
Hey, Miss
That's what I would
Ruth.
talk about. Get on in here with the new swag. I'm loving it. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you two ladies tonight?
We really good. Excited for the Block Talent Battle, April 15th.
Sure.
Very, very excited. We are pressed for time tonight. Lily has previous engagements.
Oh.
So we are going to get in and get out, but there's a lot of things going on. So we'll touch on it briefly and run through it because I want to get to the topic. No Saint, Lily, did you hear about this girl who I fell in love with within seconds?
To the game, finishing the way she started this season. LSU has been a confident group throughout. And Angel.
She gave me chills, man. This is the type of swag I love. I'm like, y'all, I'm gonna start answering everybody like this. I'm answering everybody like this.
But I saw there was controversy. I've been busy this weekend, and so I haven't been. I can get the just through the like quick, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. Where's the racial bell? Because I feel like we were.
Where's the bell? Don't say we gotta ring the bell. Race time! It's race time.
It's race
that
time.
bell. My God, I gotta get a bell.
You gotta
we need
get
a bell.
I'm gonna invest in a bell.
We need a bell, and I need a blue cap so I can just start throwing it from time to time.
Yeah, we need the little cap to throw it. Okay, seriously. Honey, I'm like, what the F is happening? First of all, I love when athletes are dope and they just shit talk on the field, on the court. I love it. I love it. And that's all I saw. But the internet will internet and turn it into something else that you weren't even thinking about. Here I am seeing a star athlete talking shit like Kobe, like Jordan, and it's like, it gives you that. This is why we watch sports, right? Some of us, this is why you watch sports, right? For that nitty gritty, I won, bitch. You know what I mean? It's like, it gets you going. That's the excitement. But the internet will internet, and now she has no class and she's too hood. And why did she do that? And then come to find out, the same player she was doing that to did it to her. So I'm like,
yeah, they was gonna leave. They conveniently leave out stuff.
So what you think about that, No Saint? Because you watch sports. I don't.
Oh yes, please.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it. And get that bell. We need that bell. We're gonna need it.
I know. So first of all, she didn't do it to her. She did it to another player like 2 or 3 games before.
Okay, correct me.
But it wasn't this player for the Iowa. LSU is my team, so that's the one who won the game, right? National team. But so the player on Iowa's team, she's like a phenom, I guess. She's like one of the best players in college, and she's going to go to the pros. And they're calling her kind of like the Larry Bird of, and probably because she's white, but Larry Bird.
Okay, all right. I hear them call her Larry Bird, and I didn't know the connection. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So, but she's really good. But she has a lot of clapping. She does a lot of that. She does a lot of what you saw
Angel Reese doing.
Yeah, Angel Reese do. And there's first of all, there's a couple of double standards here. It is racial because nobody called the girl classless when she did it to the other girl.
Right.
You got a 60-something-year-old Keith Olbermann, who's a former ESPN guy, saying something, using the F word on Twitter, like effing idiot or something like that. And so I think there's that.
Who did he just speak like that in general? Or did he say that about the girl?
He said that about the girl.
We could fight. We could fight. We could fight. We could take these off.
Aspect. And then you got the aspect that it's women's sports. So we see all the time in the NBA or even college, but most like NBA, where someone will dump on somebody and stare at them as they walk away. And guys love it, right?
Yeah.
A girl does it, and suddenly they can't have emotions like they're not supposed to look like that. There was really, it was, but I definitely think race had something to do with it because, and another thing is, it was kind of weird because this was an all-white team, this Iowa team, all white. You don't really see that a lot.
I know, that's weird. That is weird.
It almost was like back in the 80s when you had Bird, McHale, and like all the white people pulled for Boston, all the black people were pulling for the Lakers. You know what I mean? I think there was that aspect, except here, because LSU's the team here. So, we're all pulling for LSU here.
Right.
But I think the white people in the country, I think there was some of that. And so when she did that to her, that's like, it's like Larry, if you did it to Larry Bird, white people probably pissed off. Yeah, but
so do you think? I fell in love with her instantly because I love people who shit talk but are good.
Right.
I hate people who shit talking and I'm like, shut the fuck up.
I love that.
I like it.
I live for it.
I like it.
Live for it.
So no saying, do you think that there'll always be a racial component in sports in general that just goes along with the game?
Or just America? Does it go along with America?
I think it has. Listen, sports is one of the few things in the world that is truly an equalizer. Like, that the people that are playing in the NBA, that's the best people they can find. Now, there may be somebody who is undiscovered somewhere in some country that you just don't know about. But they'll find you. I mean, if they get word that you're there, they're going to come and get you, and you're going to be on the floor. It doesn't matter what you look like. It's a results-driven league. So, but when it comes to things like what we saw yesterday, where you have a white person that traditionally white people aren't the top in the in the NBA. It's mostly black people in the NBA. You have white people, but so it's rare. So when you get somebody that good, I think it's just it's one of those things where they're gonna all of a sudden something like that happens and people get mad and they call But I didn't think there's nothing wrong with what she did
at all.
Listen, I'll put it to you this way. I don't mind celebration. I don't mind the stare on an NBA dunk and stuff like that. But there are times where I'll see a player do something and I'm just like, yeah, you didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? It's like, you didn't have to do it. But I mean, that has nothing to do with class though. I don't necessarily like the taunting. I don't like taunting. But
so give me an example of. I need to hear. Give me an example of something like, oh, you didn't have to do that.
Oh, like you in football, like you come across and somebody like lays you out and you're on the ground. I mean, it's a huge hit and someone will maybe point in the face, like point in their face, and the guy's possibly hurt. You know what I mean? To me, I think that's unnecessary. But like what they did, I mean, that's just emotions. I mean, that's an emotional thing. They're not robots. But it definitely is. Yeah, there's no doubt about it in my mind that it was because she did it to a white woman who's really good, and she's really good. But the white girl, a couple of days before, people were saying, "Oh, she's got swag. Look at this. This girl's got swag." I mean, it's clearly there. What other reason could you go to other than race?
She ain't got our kind of swag though. That ain't gonna happen. So, all right, interesting. All right, so you have you know what, the no saint of the block is the saint yet again, because I feel like, right, even though that may look visually horrible when the example you gave, like on a football field, like, oh my God, this guy's probably knocked out or dying, and you're going by taunting them. My thing is, these guys are, the tools they're using to entertain you. I mean, they have to be Mack trucks on the field. So I can't see, I understand how they can't turn it off after they beat the shit out of somebody on the field. You can't turn that shit off. And I remember, I forgot his name, and I did a voiceover with his voice, but he was saying that he plays football and he does a podcast now, but he was saying it's hard for them. Who?
Shannon Sharp?
No, I know his name, not that loud mouth. It was another guy. I forgot his name, but he's popular as well. And he was saying that it was hard for him to turn off going from the field and dealing with his family. Because on the field, he's at war. And it's like, you got to go with your family and then you got to treat them soft. And you're thinking, I just had to take the heads off of men that are 6'5", 300 pounds, right? So I totally get it. And I think I give them a pass. I give athletes a pass because it's high energy. It's like do or die, and you're getting paid millions of dollars. So I understand the pressure. So I happen to give them a pass. But this thing was, I'm just, it's interesting to see how blatantly racist people are. And this is when I think racism should be addressed, right? Not when some actress, the N-word, are you looking at me? This to me is a situation that has to be addressed because it is blatant, it is in your face, and that's exactly why they are treating her like this. This here is an issue, but I'm loving to see the support. That girl's almost at 1 million followers now on Instagram, and she was not. So it goes to show that the more you're hated on, the more popular people make you. It's just like an episode Black Mirror, because I didn't know her until this controversy. And I'm like, follow, because I love people who are just like in your face. And she's a lovely girl. I don't see her, she was saying in the press conference, like, you think you've been critiquing me this whole time. You're saying I'm too hood. You're saying I'm classless. And, and I'm like, girl, go ahead.
Yeah. Yep. And
go ahead, mama.
And that goes along with like, when remember FloJo, she had those long nails.
Of course.
Yeah, it goes along with that kind of stuff too. That style. When you have a style, then they'll start calling you names. Like, oh, that's classless, ghetto, whatever. But she may have a deal.
Only to turn around and do it.
Yeah, right. She may have a deal. They're talking about it, like maybe a value Barbie doll deal, because they called it a value Barbie.
Value, like a great value Barbie.
Value, like down in the value.
The bayou. Okay, yeah. Down the bayou. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, Barbie. What? They call her a great value Barbie. Hold on, we gotta fight.
Right.
Okay. All right.
She might be getting a doll deal out of this, and I'm sure
she's going to get a lot
like you said,
out of this.
A lot of people know her now that, now it's opportunity. The opportunity now is to strike while your name's out there,
Right. Absolutely. And, listen, we support her 110%.
And I hope so.
Yeah, support her 110%. She is fine. 548. She'll do well. It's interesting. So earlier today, the block got a shout out from pioneer icon Crazy Legs. They World Star Hip Hop interviewed him today, and he shouted out the block and said, we got some real things going on out here. Yeah. So I appreciate that. We appreciate Crazy Legs with all our heart. I will clip it and share it. But he did shout us out for some real content. We're putting out real content, great conversations. And that's what makes me proud. You know what I'm saying? When people like, you only got 4,000 followers. I got fucking icons shouting me out, bitch. Star from the Star Report, Crazy Legs. And that's how it's going to go. And that is what makes me proud of what we're doing here on the block. Okay. So fuck your subs. All right. I got the icons putting respect on my name for what we've created here. So shout out to Crazy Legs. Catch him on World Star Hip Hop YouTube. It was a wonderful interview. I watched the entire thing. Shouted on the block with Jen at the end. So I'm like, we're getting eyes on us. Okay. We are getting out there. Maybe a slow drip, but the pot's going to be full soon. And I'm really, really proud of us. So shout out to Crazy Legs and shout out to us. Okay. Shout out to us for being able to have these conversations every single day and disagree sometimes vehemently. We have white on white violence between No Saint and George, and we still, you know what I'm saying? We still get through.
So much. I learned so much being on this block. I was thinking about it earlier, just some of the little nuggets that I've learned throughout the show. So many things. It was just like, I was saying one thing and that's, and I learned this too. And I found out this. It's like, we are definitely pioneers and we're definitely doing something that you're not seeing on YouTube right now. Because all you're seeing on YouTube is just a bunch of everyone wanting to be heard. No one's listening. Vitriol, like it's just nasty. Wars. And it's like, even when we do get passionate and argue, it always ends in respect, love, agree to disagree, all of that good stuff. And that's what separates. And like I said, we're learning because we're not bringing on people to just agree without whatever talking points or whoever. We got different talking points anyway. So
this is definitely a crash course in tolerance. Okay, because this is like the variety and the diversity that we have on this panel. This is definitely, I learned a lot myself, and I'm like, yo, this is literally a crash course in tolerance. And it's funny because when we get people in the chat, they're like, hey, let that guy argue, or let that person. I'm like, that's not what we do here. Like that's not what we do here. Like, I know that gets the blood going, gets the algorithm popping, but that's not what we do here. There's enough of that, right? And some people stick around anyway because you need balance. Like, it's like we're not gonna do that. We are not gonna do that.
Right.
Yeah, I know, Leela, you were busy. We had a late night show.
Oh yeah,
It went up over 3 hours, but it was interesting. It was
good, right?
Yeah, it was good.
No, that was fucking good. Like, we were, No Saint and I were kind of like interviewing each other. So it was like some real late night creep, like lots of information. And Haran came up. It was a great like late night creeping show.
If you would have watched, you would never look at a beaver's butt the same.
Oh, well, no, I already don't look at vanilla the same. Okay. So last night, my client, so I didn't know we were being invited to.
Okay.
So my client was like, we get this mass text, everyone meet at this location, dress up nice, and you bet, and they threaten our life to be on time because they know everyone's on CB time. And so so we get there, and this French chef, real French with a real French accent. From France.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah. And they have a restaurant here in New York, but they invited us to their home, and they fixed us a 7-course meal. They turned their home into a restaurant. A 7-course meal. I'm talking about, they gave us before every dish, they did the presentation of how they cooked it and how long something was marinated. Freaking garlic that was marinated for 6 years. It's supposed to be marinated for 10 years because it actually has a lot of health properties to it. And that's a whole other story. But the dessert had vanilla.
And you were like, beaver's ass is beaver.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it. I was thinking in my head, and everything in my head was like, Lily, shut up. Don't mention the beaver's ass. This is not the time to mention the beaver's ass.
Oh my goodness, no. All right, so Lily's the person to hang out with when you in New York City. Shit, I want a 7-course meal.
Those connections.
There's a movie called, I believe, The Menu. Have you guys seen it?
Yes, I want to see that. Yes.
Okay, it was good. Wasn't it good? It was interesting. I thought it was going to be boring, but the trailer was like interesting. So I was like, I want to see what this is about. Watch The Menu, No Saint. Very interesting.
Is it in theaters now or?
No, I saw it on TV. Yeah, I saw it on TV.
In the theater, actually.
Would you see it on Netflix?
I'm not sure. Google. Thank you for the super chat, Adam Hearn. Adam Hearn says, Baltimore girls stay in some mess. Jada, Monique, Blueface's girlfriend, and now this girl. I don't think Angel Reese is in nobody's mess.
No,
she's an athlete.
I'm about to say doing what, like, athletes and rappers are supposed to do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I've always loved about JayZ. He's so arrogant, but he backs it up.
What I'll tell you, what I found sort of amazing, kind of cool, amazing, whatever. This coach that LSU hired 2 years ago, this is her second season. She has won with Baylor. She won, I think, three other national championships. LSU had never in females basketball won a national championship. She did it in 2 years. She came in and said, see these banners? They had like 4 or 5 Final Fours. None of those state national championship. That's why I'm here. 2 years. She did it 2 years. She got a national championship.
Shit.
It's pretty good. You put your mind to it. You can take anything you want.
Talk your shit. Adam Hearn said, Jen, wait until the Tank Garcia fight blacks versus Mexicans. Oh, I know. Listen, with the racial tension that we got, that's being fabricated on social media between Latin and black people. I say fabricated because it's not my experience. I didn't grow up like that. Either. Right. It's not my experience. But, according to the internet, we're at each other's throats and we hate each other. Right. And you let a couple of these clowns who have podcasts and followings and call themselves leaders of the black community. And they'll tell you, black and Latin people hate each other. Right. That's what they put out there because they need the subs. Right. So they do this shit. But I guarantee in the current environment, when Javante Davis and Garcia have the fight that's coming up, which is a long-awaited fight, okay? It's going to be a huge blacks versus Mexicans. I already see it coming. I already see it coming. I'm going to enjoy the fight anyway and let them kill each other in the comment section. I'm going to enjoy the fight.
From what I understand, just from paying attention, is that New York's kind of different. Like the Puerto Ricans and the black people are more intermixed. You get out to California because of gangs and things like that, there's more of a divide. But as we say, not all Latinos are the same. So
I was just about to say, they're not a monolith.
Yeah. So, but I think New York has that unique, because it is such a diverse place, that you don't have, it's not the same, you just don't have that same,
we don't have the luxury of doing that because we're so intermingled in neighborhoods. And like you said, because with California, what I had to learn about out there, it's kind of like they're born into a gang based off of the location they're born in. So if you were born on this block, then you belong to this particular set. And then even as you grow up, you know how we grow up and move and things like that, you got to move within blocks that rep that set. Correct. So that's a different environment as opposed to, look, child, we thrown together, okay?
Yep.
My block is a bunch of Puerto Ricans and West Indians and East Indians, and we just got to figure it out. And and I love that diversity because it's it's so beautiful because I learn a lot, about different cultures and stuff, living around different people, and that is not my experience. My neighbors, especially my Puerto Rican neighbors and stuff, like they treat me like family, and I haven't had a bad experience, but let's just say if I did today, let's just say if I walk out and have a bad experience today, that's one person. I had an encounter with a fucked up person. That's it.
Yep.
And it's interesting because, in New York, like that's all we've ever known, like growing up since we're little, and our best friends, are either Black or Puerto Rican. We're in school, it's Black or Puerto Rican, right? So it's very, our community is that way. So when I started doing this YouTube, I was like, the fuck is what? I was like, what? Like, oh, we supposed to have beef? Now, with that said, there are some people that be like, that's not true because in the Bronx, the Blacks and Puerto Ricans were beefing over. And I was like, of course, you're going to find people who beef with other people from other ethnicities, right? Those same motherfuckers will be beefing with their mama and beefing with their cousin. Some people just beef. Some people just live in an existence of beef. But I was like, what you cannot do is erase someone's actual experience, right? Like you cannot erase my actual experience and what my collection of family and friends actually look like. You can't erase that, right? Like you can't erase that. You can think whatever you want about how Black and Puerto Ricans get along or don't, but you cannot erase my experience. This is what I've experienced. So you can have your wars online or whatever, but I'm like, you can't erase the New York experience. And the New York experience is unique. It is a melting pot. So we're used to being around Indians and Asians, even some white people that end up in the hood. And I'm not talking about the gentrifiers. I'm talking about the hood white folk. Okay. Yeah. The ones that hang out.
You don't want to play with because they ready for your ass.
Right. So, and I'm so happy that I grew up that way, because it really does prepare you for life and just talking to other people. But with that said, I do know it's different in California, and some blocks Mexicans can't go to because of the black gangs, and some blocks Black people can't go to because the Mexican. It's serious out in California. With that said, that's not the New York experience, though. So there's a lot going on online.
But there's blocks that Black people can't go to in other Black people neighborhoods. Right. So it really boils down to gang on gang violence.
Very true.
At the end of the day, because what I'm saying?
Great point. Great point. Because, there are people, some of them come up here. I live in a gated community. Why don't you live with your people? Right? Why don't you live with your people you love so much? Because, it's dangerous.
Pro.
Right. Pro. It's dangerous over there, don't you? Right?
Mr. X. Mr. X is on the block.
I don't know. Listen, and I grew up in a totally different world than what you're talking about. But to me, it's an interesting take that you think that people when they make it, or they make enough money to live in a neighborhood that is not dangerous, and if it's in a white neighborhood, it's in a white neighborhood, that they expect you to be back where it's a little bit more dangerous. Like, I guarantee you, if I win the Powerball, I'm moving out of this neighborhood. And I'm not thinking twice. I don't live in a bad neighborhood, but I'm moving out of it.
Yeah, and listen, but that's what you're supposed to do. So that's what you're supposed to do. No saying in no way, shape, or form I'm saying, oh, you need to stay in the hood if you real. Right. That's some bullshit. The point is to get the fuck out. And if you have a heart, or you have a heart from where you came from, of course you're gonna go and give back. But I don't think people are obligated. I'm not that person. Like, if you want to move on and move out and help your family and bring your, generational wealth and all that, by all means, you don't have to come back. I think people that come back, that's really in their heart and their business. But I don't think you're obligated to come back and help the hood. Right. I don't think so.
No, and I'm with you, Jen, because I am one of those go back and help whatever, but I don't put that on everyone else. And that just goes with belief systems in general, right? And the way I look at belief systems, if I say this is what I believe in, then I need to hold myself and uphold myself to that standard. Correct. I don't get to go around and say, oh, this is what I believe in, and then people should do this. No, bitch, you do that, okay? I want to do this, right? And so I also don't believe that anyone is obligated. I don't. I really don't. Just because it's something that I choose to do. I do it because it's my own personal reasons, which is really why I don't really talk about it unless I'm in a conversation like this. Because it's so personal to me that it doesn't need publicity or attention or anything like that, because it actually takes away from the reason why I do it. So I just tell people, do whatever you feel like you need to do in your life. So.
Right. And then a lot of people are preaching shit online that they don't even believe. Like they'll be promoting Black love and then next thing you know, they're having a heart attack on a Mexican chick. Right. So it's like you get a lot of people promoting shit that they don't even follow. Even who was it? Umar Johnson. He's like, no white women. And then they're getting fucking surveillance pictures and videos of him kikiing with white women. And it's like, so a lot of people are preaching shit that they don't even believe, but they know it's like, the angrier I make people, the more, the money comes in, because hate sells. Hate sells, right?
Division really.
No, Saint, you were saying something?
No, I was going to say, that old saying, oh, you forgot where you came from. Hell no, I didn't forget. That's why I'm not going back.
I remember, bitch. I remember. Look, my YouTube hubby is here. Hi, Don Levon and your tongue.
Don.
Hi, Don. Thank you for the super chat.
I'm in your old neighborhood right now. And my manager was born and raised over here too.
Where in the Bronx?
Where I'm over at Castle Hill area.
Oh, you're in Castle Hill.
Yeah. I'm on the Castle Hill side.
Okay,
but that's
cute.
not the side we was on. we was by remember I told you I used to live off Apache.
Okay.
Fort Apache. That's why I lived and my manager was like, yeah, this was like, she used to always smell like fire over here. Everything was just always burning.
Oh yeah, I mean, I lived in a building that used to set on fire. Yeah,
right. Well, it was always on fire.
I remember. No saying, if you were from New York, we probably would have met when I was 10. You know what I mean? The firemen were like superheroes in caves. Boy, they used to come. They used to be like, yeah. The firemen. Let me tell you something. When we used to be in the supermarket, and the firemen used to come through to get their groceries, and they still had their little uniforms on, but they only had the t-shirts on and the pants and the boot parts. Listen, okay, we were like, the firemen's is here, and then they would get priority. Like at the cash register line. So everybody had to move out the way for the firemen. We were all like,
yeah.
Fireman, I think it's fire over here. It was so crazy. It was like they were larger than life. And then the truck was outside and they used to come in and get their little meats and shit. And then we were all like, y'all cute or whatever.
Now, what Abby NYC said,
I did not have to move out of the hood. The gentrification came and made it nicer and safer, but everything is more expensive. My rent stabilized building is now mostly condos. Hold out. That is true, Abby. That is true.
So true. So that's pretty much why I got lucky. Because let me be real with you. I shouldn't be able to afford to live where I live at. But same type of situation. I got the rent stabilization thing. So baby, they will have to drag me out of there kicking and screaming and punching but that's what they do here. Like if you live somewhere, you might be living in the hood today. And if you'll wake up tomorrow, it's gentrified. You wake up the day after that, they're like, yeah, we're doubling your rent. Starting next month. Yeah.
I mean, the rent in my first apartment is when I first got in my apartment in the Bronx, no lie, it was like $490 something rent. Now it's almost like 2G, sunken living room, all wood floors. Like the rent now is, I mean, astronomical. Like it's crazy. I was like, I paid $500 a month.
In Brooklyn, rent starts at $2,100.
Oh, no, ma'am.
You see this living room I'm in right now? That's what you're going to get for $2,100 in the hood of Brooklyn. Brooklyn is so expensive, and not just expensive. That's not even the problem. When my bestie was up here looking for an apartment, it took 6 months for him to find an apartment, which is very good record time. And the only reason why I did that because people I knew, and you better know somebody, because every apartment in Brooklyn that we went to view, and I can't even tell you how many apartments, had at least 50 people trying to view the same one apartment.
Damn. Yeah, no. In the Bronx, it's funny. My grandmother's apartment has been in my family for like 40 years now. No lie, no cap. My grandmother's apartment, she passed away, grandma, but it has been in my family's
But that's normal here, though.
For 40 fucking years.
That's normal here, though, Jen. Like, I see that all the time because people pass their apartments down.
Yeah, they do not let go of those apartments. They do not let go of those apartments.
No.
At all. Like I was a kid.
I'm the newest one in my neighborhood, but 50 years is like the norm. Like, oh, this apartment has been here in the family for 50 years. His grandmother, then she passes it down, and then the daughters. So like now I'm coming in with the youngest ones are taking over now. That's a normal thing up here because you're right, Jen. They do not move up here. And when I had to look for an apartment, and once I found my apartment, I said, I see why they don't move because the looking for an apartment in New York is unlike anywhere else in this country. You will not experience it is a nightmare. You better know somebody.
I left for a gated community, Lily.
Yeah. But I wouldn't want to live nowhere else but my block. I love where I live.
Abby said, chain yourself to the radiator. I'm not going, bitch.
Yeah, that'd be me. Me and TT be chained to the damn radiator. TT will be on one side of the radiator. I'll be on the other side.
No, for real.
Wow. Yeah, the only place I know, I think San Francisco, they will show like they've had where they just show the view, and that's what you see of the apartment, right? Because it's expensive. Like everybody knows, San Francisco is one of the most expensive cities to live in the United States, and the apartment was nothing, but they show you the view and charge you, I don't know, $3 or $4 grand.
Please stop the madness.
Well, New York is now #1 most expensive place in the world to live.
Wow.
Number one.
It's too much crime over there for that shit. It's
crazy. And like you said, the crime has just gone up again. It's becoming the 80s and 90s again.
Because I moved out maybe 5-6 years ago, but I follow like all the news stations still, like on Instagram, like Bronx 12 and what have you. And I'm like, these people are having shootouts at 2:00 in the afternoon while these children are walking to and fro from the daycare center. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? What are y'all doing out there? It reminds me of the 80s when I was growing up and I was going to a funeral every other month for my friends, you know what I mean, getting killed. Like, I'm like, that's what you're going back to? What the fuck? And then you want to charge $3,000 for an apartment? The math ain't mathing.
It's insane. I don't know how. I just don't. Sometimes I don't even know how I'm living. It's expensive. I'm telling you.
Really?
And most people don't. And then that's the other thing. Most people don't live alone here. And I live
like
by myself.
LA.
Yeah,
like LA.
most people don't. So when I moved here and I said I was looking for an apartment, every single person I went to, I said I was looking, because I was talking to anyone that had ears, right? And they all assumed because I was single that I was looking for a roommate situation or some type of room. And I was like, no, I'm actually trying to move out of a room and I'm trying to get a 1B room. Literally everybody was just like, oh, good luck. Good luck. Don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. You have to tell me behind the scenes how much that rent is, doll.
Oh, yeah. I don't even like to tell nobody because I'm like, y'all won't want to fight me if y'all know. Because my apartment is huge. So for that amount.
Yeah, that's how my first apartment was. Oh my, listen, the way I was living. And my friends were like from all weird different backgrounds. So I would have like thugs in the living room playing chess with my daughter. And then the cops would come visit me in uniform with their walkie-talkies blaring. And they would be in my living room watching TV and watching a game. And I'd be giving them beer. And then my thug friends would be like, yo, who the fuck is in your living room? Why the cops here? And I'm like, oh, that's just Mike and Jay. Don't worry about them. Like I'm telling you, my apartment was nuts. I would literally have my thug friends in the kitchen playing chess. And then the cops were literally in the living room. That's how tight knit we were in that neighborhood. Like
that's how the neighborhoods are in New York, though.
Yeah, my apartment was nuts. My friends would be like, "The fucking police is in the living room." I'm like, that's Mike. He does this on his shift.
Oh yeah, because my neighbor across the hall, they have a key to my place. They take care of my place while I'm gone. They take care of my cat while I'm gone. Like if they hear a noise, they opening up that door. What's up? When you because it's only two of us on the floor. It's us and them. So if you're not coming to see them and they know I'm not home, why are you on this? Why are you here? Right. So yeah, I love how close knit the neighborhoods are there. You're not going to get that anywhere.
Yeah, you don't. Like, and it's bad. Listen, I recommend no matter where you move, whether it's no matter where you move, it's good to know your precinct and the cops at the precinct. It's just good to know the cops who are policing your area. And it's funny the way I got close to a lot of the cops at the 5-2. Shout out to the 5-2 precinct, okay, in the Bronx. The way I got close to them is my neighbor was always calling the cops on me. So I'm like, oh, you don't know who I am. So I started making friends with those cops that were being called on me. And then we got like this. And then she hated me even more. I was like, you can't send men over here, bitch. What you think is going to happen? Right. So then we just became friends. And the reason why it was easy for me to make friends with them is because she was a correction officer. And in New York City, the correction officers and the regular police department got beef. Okay. A lot of people don't know that. So, she used to call the cops on me and say, oh, she's doing X, Y, and Z, but she used to tell them that she was an officer. So, of course, they came running, right, to her rescue. And then they would find out she's a correction officer and they would be like, bitch, you ain't a cop. So they had that beef, right? So I'm like, it worked in my favor. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, bitch. Right. Art of war, bitch.
Right. So, African proverb.
Right. So anyway, it was good times. It was good times. My 20s were good, interesting times. Very, 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 very fun time for me. Oh, I miss it. My little $500 apartment with the sunken living room. Ooh, Lord, good times, Lily, good times. Oh, Anyway, moving on. Before we jump into this subject, watch your phones, guys. Moving on, before we jump into this subject, let's talk about the blue checks on Instagram really quickly. Let's talk about the blue checks. Oh, go ahead, girl. Let's talk about the blue checks on Instagram. Okay. Lily, they cost what? Is it $12.99 or $14.99 per month?
I believe it's $14, if I'm not mistaken.
$14.99 a month. So basically, for anyone who's been under a rock, okay, the blue checks on Instagram, they look like this. They make you official, right? When they started, it was celebrities that got them. So that person's official or important or celebrity. So Instagram did a thing. Instagram said, we know, we see, we study you cattle, right? And you cattle, you like attention and you're addicted. So what we're going to do is we're going to charge you to feel important. So now they're charging $14.99. So you also can have a blue check like the celebrities have. And Lily, do you know how many blue checks they sold in one day?
Tell me, because I'm about to get mad. This
Okay. So Instagram sold 44 million blue checks 44 million blue checks in one day, and they made $660 million in one day. They made $660 million in one day because people wanted to feel special with that blue check. Now, here's the thing. There was this guy today on Instagram. He was like, well, I don't care. I bought my blue check because it protects my brand. So then I tapped him on the shoulder and I said, what protects your brand is trademarks and copyrights. What Instagram made you do was pay to be on a free site. Instagram is free to be on, and they convinced you to pay $14.99 to be on a free site. If you want to protect your brand, trademarks and copyrights. And he was like, yo, you got a good point.
So sad.
So you're giving, now these are the same people who are borrowing passwords because they don't want to pay for Netflix.
Right.
But now they're paying Instagram $14.99 a month just so they can have an extra blue check by their name. And I'm like, bamboozled bitches. Bamboozled. You are paying to be on a free site.
This is the thing. These tech companies are not making the money that they were once making. Hence why they started to stop monetizing people's content because they couldn't afford to pay them out. So they had to come up with a scheme. They had to come out with a scheme and a scam. And to Jen's point, they're like, oh, we got one. Everyone wants to be a celebrity now. So like, let's make them all celebrities, because the blue check mark was that thing. If, everyone was fighting to get it. I've applied for one several times and I'm official. Like, and they were still like, no. Right. So I'm like, cool. All right. Because I know they don't make me, my money never was affected. Nothing was ever affected. I felt like it was more of an ego thing, and my ego doesn't reach to that. Like, I want my money. Okay. So they did that to try to make up for some of this money that they've been losing, because they've been laying off people like crazy over down at Meta and Instagram and Google and YouTube. Like, they have been laying people off like crazy. So this was a way to get some of their money back, and it worked.
People, I got double the people watching and half the likes. Hit that like for me. We put on a good show for you all the time. So please uncrook that finger and hit that like, because it helps mama. Thank you for the super chat, Don Levon. And the reminder that they should be hitting the like button and the subscribe button. So Lily, really quickly, before we move on to our main topic, Instagram used to pay for reels. Right? All the little voiceover, the cute voiceovers I used to do or whatever. Everybody was getting paid for reels. Then they found out that they're paying $1 billion per year, right? $1 billion per year. They were paying all these content creators, right? So they stopped paying for reels, completely took it away, right? They didn't give a fuck how much work you put in. They completely took it away, insert the blue check, and they are literally making the money back like that.
Yes.
So not only did they bamboozle people, they literally are taking the money back that they paid them, and they're taking it monthly, and no one sees the mind fuck. Everybody's too busy wanting to have the blue check.
People are, I keep telling you, their brains are fried, you all. I'm telling you. They're gone. Like, their brains are gone. Because that's how I thought about it too. I was like, how dare you? That's like me going to work. Like, that's paying to work. I look at what I do as work, right? Maybe it's an age thing. Maybe it's a maturity thing. Because, and I say age is because it's like, for me, I'm always thinking about retirement. How soon can I retire? What do I need to retire? How much do I need to retire? Right? So everything you see me, if you see me do any goddamn thing publicly, trust me, retirement is the goal. Right? So if you see me on Instagram, I look at like, okay, I'm working. So why would I pay to show up to work? That is insane.
And the way you put it is so logical. It's so logical. They're paying to come to work. And it's funny because when I was doing the reels, when I was getting paid to do the reels, it's funny how people were like, well, you have a lot of time on your hands. Bitch, do you think I'm doing this for fun? Do you think I would be putting out reels just for fun so you guys could see me and hit like? I'm getting paid for this. So now you will see Jen will do less reels because they're no longer paying out for less reels. But I'm like, I'm not on social media for fun. Like, it's a job. And I'm like, I like being on platforms that I get paid to be on because we spend a lot of time here.
Yes. Yes.
Spent a lot of time here.
Yes. And not just here, but the research and the planning and the production. Like, people don't know what goes on behind.
And the new lipstick color. I had to buy this.
All of that. That's
what I think's funny about the whole thing, I heard, and I think there's probably many of the people that are following suit. I don't know, but I heard Shannon Sharp say that he's about to lose his blue check because he says because they started to charge $14, and what do you say? My money's not that good or something like that.
Oh, did he say that? Yeah,
or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I think celebrities are gonna be like, I'm not paying for that. I mean,
the ones I know said that they're not. They all said they're not, and I wouldn't do it
really
either.
Content on Instagram, but I would never pay for anything like that. To me, it's just
no.
This is my thing.
Quick, Lily, real quick. And the fact that you can pay for it now nullifies any. It makes it less worth it. It makes that blue check nothing. Like, I can go and pay for a blue check, and I don't know if I have 2 real followers. I mean, I have you and Lily.
But the thing is like that's why I keep calling it celebrity inflation. This is another example of celebrity inflation. So now the market has been flooded with blue check marks, and now they have lost their value. And the ones who earned them no longer are interested. If I was a person who did achieve my blue check mark prior to them selling it to everyone, same thing with Fashion Week. This year, they start because the fashion brands have been losing money like crazy as well. So for the first time, I don't know if it was this year or last year that they started it. They started selling tickets for New York Fashion Week. That is an abomination. Like, that is just like, the common people are going to be at this show.
The common is here, sitting next to me.
Oh, baby, when I tell you the people who have been doing this for years, and just like, it's just so weird now. And
everything is, like I said in my fucking reel, it's like everything is in a disarray. Everything is a mess. Things that used to be up or down, things that used to be black or white, vice versa. It's a fucking mess. It's a free for all. Anybody can get an Oscar. Anybody can get a Grammy. Anybody can get a blue check. It's a free for all. The playing field has been leveled. Get your money and get the fuck on. Get your money, have good friends, enjoy your family, get your money, because all of this shit is hot garbage now. Nothing means anything. Nothing means nothing. No. Nothing means anything. You know what's stupid about the blue check? The most stupid thing is that prior to the internet, we knew who the celebrities were. We knew who the famous people were. Did Prince need a blue check? Did Michael Jackson need a blue check? Did Mariah Carey need a blue check? No, like, your work spoke for you. Now it's like, I'm going to give you a blue check to make, Twitter is charging for blue check. Instagram, it means nothing anymore. It means nothing. Just make sure my check clears. Fuck you, blue check.
All I care about. That's the only check I be looking for. The
Yesterday's price is not today's price. That's all I care about.
I want a residual check. Thank you very much. I like my residual checks.
Indeed. The blue check mark is the new drug. Oh, yes. Fucking well. But again, $660 million fucking dollars in a day. One day. Anywho.
I mean, like, where are we going with this? Like, what is, like, I really.
What the fuck is happening?
What is like, I just don't know. I really don't know. Like, even with me, I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I go to try to create now, you all. I have such a blockage. I have such a blockage, and it's because I know you're going to be able to relate to this, Jen, and I know Haran would be able to relate this. I am a true artist. I live, I breathe, I sleep this shit, and I put a lot into my creations. And so now when I go to sit down to do it, and I think about what I'm going to have, what it's going to take, the amount of time and effort and work, and how it just won't be rewarded at all. Like, people don't care about quality anymore. They don't give a fuck about quality anymore.
So the way I cope with it, Lily, is the way I cope with it, because I'm an artist as well, and I'm sensitive about my shit. So what I did was, and I think it's necessary for all true artists, people that are here, like Just Add Water artists, they don't give a fuck, right?
Yeah, they don't.
But for us, I split myself in two. There's the dancing monkey shit I'll put out for the low vibe, low thinking people, right? The fun shit, the junk food. And then I'm still pursuing being a writer, writing my dramedies, pushing, promoting and shopping my writing. Right. I'm still working with people that are in the Hollywood circles and they're pushing my product over there. But then it's like we need to split ourselves in two because it's disheartening to have to dumb down your work. Like I am a fucking writer. Okay.
Right. It's so hard to dumb your shit down.
But then it's like people don't appreciate the work you put in and the lighting and the makeup and the time, the hours that you take brainstorming and writing this. They don't appreciate that. The masses don't appreciate that. They just, that's why sometimes people come here and be like, nobody's arguing. Let that guy argue. And I'm like, no, that's not what we're going to do. Like we can do that sometimes, but I'm going to give you who I really am. And you can stay or go. So we have to split ourselves in two because we put a lot of work into our art. But people don't really care anymore. So split yourself in two and have have both burners working. Like I'll give y'all the junk food because it's nothing for us to give them the junk food. We could do that with our hands tied behind our back, with our eyes closed, hopping on one leg. But I still, for my spirit, right, to remain intact, I still have to create the art
from the heart. The art from the heart.
Yes, it's the real shit. And not only that, but our art is how we've been able to survive and cope with the trauma.
No, literally.
We've gotten.
Literally.
So I can't give that up. I can't give that up to be a dancing monkey for y'all. You know what I'm saying? But I'll do dancing monkey material every now and then because it'd be dumb it'd be dumb to jump on the highway and not keep up with the traffic. You'll get ran over. Right. So you can't rebel on the highway. I'm not going. It's you know what I'm saying? When in Rome. Yeah. Right. Evolve or evaporate. And unfortunately, that's where we are now. That's our environment. That's our environment as artists. Nobody cares. Like you notice all the big artists, like they just made it out. This generation is like any dancing monkey will do. You thought I was feeling you? That nigga a munch. Let me feel my pussy real quick so you can say, you thought I was feeling you? That nigga a munch. And this is art now.
That's art now.
These are the people on the cover of Vogue now.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the days of the A-list celebrity and stuff, that's all gone.
Oh, it's gone.
The whole Hollywood stuff, that's all gone. Like you said, they made it out in time. Hopefully they invest their money well because the look of Hollywood is about to change completely.
Absolutely. I've seen people online talk about icons. I'm talking about icons. Someone like Mariah Carey, and they'd be like, she just trying to be relevant. I'm like, bitch, it's Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
You know who that is? Like,
oh yeah,
she's just trying to be relevant. I'm like, it's her fucking job. But hey, again, I'm willing to keep up with the traffic. All right.
Gotta do what we gotta do.
Clink, 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 clink,
to get
clink,
to this
clink,
retirement.
Any end of way. All right, your Haran DeMarco says, your greatest gift is your artistry. You are artists. Let them be hacks. It's not sustainable. Our work is a slow drip, but it's always been for us. All right, so let's get into this because we are pressed for time today. Lily thinks she cute and she got other things to do. So we got to keep pushing today. Tomorrow, Mañana, okay? We are honoring the request. I've had a couple DMs. I've had a couple comments. Y'all want me to address the big, wide back, elephant in the room, burly things. So tomorrow, the block will dissect the ascent of the new woman king of the Black manosphere. Tomorrow, we will address it. We will dissect. It is not a hit piece. Okay, I'm just going to play devil's advocate per usual. All right. So tomorrow, meet us here. We will dissect just burly things. Okay. And how she became the woman king of the Black manosphere. We're going to break it down. That is tomorrow's show. Then on Wednesday, we're going to talk about conmen coaches. Only people who are coaching you about relationships are going to do that Wednesday. Okay. So we're coming hard this week. So be ready. be ready to go. But tomorrow, I'm like, I don't really like frequenting the trash of the YouTube streets. I think all them people deserve each other, and water seeks its own level. Even swamp water seeks its own level. But because it's been requested, I want to give the people what they're asking for, and I will dissect the whole Burley things fiasco. Okay? Y'all happy? Bien, bien, mañana. Y ya.
Every now and then we can stoop down a little every now and then.
Clink, 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 clink. Tomorrow, people, tomorrow we'll be the dancing monkeys. We clink, clink, clink.
Yeah, I was about to
Tomorrow.
say that'd be good if we can find some type of coach. I mean, there's a million of them on TikTok. Let me just find one and ask them to come up and
See, that's the thing. See, that's the thing, because I there's a bunch of them I'm following on Instagram too, but they're always afraid to come up and prove their point because they have to keep their persona that they're coaching for the good of the people, right? So they don't want to come up and be challenged. That's the problem.
That's it. That's what I see with a lot of these people. That's why they bring up people who only regurgitate their talking points, because they don't want anyone to challenge them. And they will only take interviews with people who are not going to challenge them as well.
Correct. Like, you get one up here and I ask them, but come on, you doing this for money. Come on.
Right.
They don't want to answer those questions. So whatever.
Just like homeboy left the passport profile.
Don, we're always on the same wavelength, me and this man. I slid in E-Black's DMs for tomorrow. And the funny thing is, E-Black was already like, oh, you trying to get me canceled? I was like, hold up, brother. First of all, I slid in your DMs because I saw you popping shit about her on your page. So what you want to do, right? You ain't going to say it with your chest? But he said he's coming through. So we'll see tomorrow if he actually pulls up. Okay. Because I slid in his DMs because I saw him going hard at the Burley. So I was like, come through tomorrow. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. Say it with your chest. Why people scared of the block, Lily? We so nice.
It's too real up here. I'm just saying. It's too real. They like, hold on. I'm not used to the way we do it. I don't know.
I'm like, we so nice. We're nice here. Look at them guns, shit. Come on, bitch. Work with me.
Yeah, baby. I'm ready to put these legs out.
I seen that time you lifted your leg. No, saying you missed it. Lily gave us leg. You missed it.
I did miss that.
You missed it. Yeah, we were up here acting a fool. All right, guys. So tonight's topic.
Real quick before I saw this flash by, I want to bring it back to the national championship game and how you know that there was a element of race even before the hand thing happened. It was the highest rated national championship female basketball game in the history. 9.9 million people watched it. Damn. And that's only attributed, I'm sure, because one team was all white, and that's rare. Right. So then you got more people that might not watch it that are going to say, oh, I wonder if these white girls, I wonder if they can beat the team that's not mostly white. You know what I mean? I think that.
Listen. I thank that girl and that controversy because now it has me interested in watching. Where I would have never watched before. Like, I don't even watch the male basketball team, but now it's like, ew, now it's interesting, right? Because I like high stakes. Like, I don't watch sports, but I love watching the end of every sport, like the championship, the Super Bowl.
I got you.
Like, I like the end when the stakes are high and everybody's mad. That's when I like sports, but I can't watch the season. I can't.
Yeah, well, and you'll even see, like, right now, towards the end of the regular season in the NBA, and the teams that are trying to place themselves, you can see that they ramp it up. Like mid-season, they might just be sort of mailing it in. They're playing, but boy, when it gets high stakes, I mean, just all the bumping and talking and it gets intense. Yeah,
that's when it's exciting for me. I'm like, because my favorite sport is boxing, so it's like now it's like, okay, there may be violence. Right. Or maybe violence on the basketball court. Let me watch it. You know what I mean? I like mano y mano sports. George Cook, how are you, darling? We're gonna have a short night tonight. On the block with Jen. I ain't scared of the big bad Jen. Hello, panel. Working tonight, so I have to go. Talk to you later. Thank you for stopping by, George. We know you ain't scared. George be up here like, well, I'm gonna say what I gotta say.
You do, and I respect that.
No Saint be ready for him though.
Look, I love it. The white on white crime.
No Saint be ready. Like, I'm the gentrifier here, bitch. I earned my place. I brought the Whole Foods over here.
Right. You take your Starbucks somewhere else, George. We love you both.
Yeah. So tonight's topic, we finally get into it. Jodie Turner Smith, to be exact, is an actress. If you guys are like, who the fuck is that? So Jodie Turner, famous for Queen and Slim. That is her on the left. Okay. Jodie Turner. That's when she was introduced to us. Now, did she act prior? Yes. When did we pay attention? Queen and Slim. So I always like referring to when someone hit the scene where everybody started paying attention. Very tall, beautiful. Okay. Statuesque. Goddess. Everything. African goddess. Okay. Everything. Like just everything. And the way she just bodied that role in Queen and Slim, we were all paying attention. We was like, yes, go ahead, Black Queen. That's what I'm talking about. And then this happened. Whoops. This happened. Whoops. So, unfortunately for Jodie Turner Smith, she is more talked about because she married what? After everyone was like, this is the new African goddess in Hollywood. She married what? And then everybody was like, oh, okay. Right? Now, for those people who care, I mean, I don't give a damn, but most people really were taken aback. Like, you are our African goddess. You just hit the scene. We were all ready to worship the statuesque Black goddess. And then it's like, hey, Josh. How are you, Josh? Okay. So, right? I mean, they make a cute couple.
Yeah, be cute or whatever.
Okay, so what had happened was she made a statement and people didn't like the statement. And I'm going to read the statement, very, very short. Okay, but this is her with her hubby, same guy. On the right, that picture is her hubby's foot, her baby's foot, and her hubby holding the baby's foot. Now, that is a mixed race child. So people were pissed off at Jodie because she said, and I want to read verbatim here. This is what Jodie said about her mixed race child. She is going to have a completely different experience in the world than I did because I have given birth to a mixed race girl. Now that I've got this little tiny light-skinned boss, I feel like it's the universe teaching me lessons. I've been given a daughter who looks this way to heal my own conversations around colorism. So everyone's like, what the fuck that mean? Right? Because unfortunately she didn't elaborate, but the internet is wild now with what the fuck that mean? Right? And some people, say again, Lily?
I would love to hear an interview about what does she, like the context. I would love to.
Right. So, and that's where everybody is. What did you mean? Elaborate. Did you not like light-skinned women? Did you feel like people treated you bad because you were dark-skinned? What the fuck that mean? Everybody wants to know. But since then, she hasn't elaborated at all. She's just like, I got a mixed race kid. This will heal my views on colorism. So people are speculating now, because now it's up for speculation, that she had a thing against light-skinned women. This is just speculation. She had a thing against light-skinned women, and now she has to raise a light-skinned woman. So now is she more open to the sensibilities of everything, right? Now that she has this mixed race child, other people in the comments are saying, well, now she feels like she doesn't have to face how dark she is because she's brought into this whole white adjacent world with this light-skinned child. So I'll pass the mic. What do you think, Lily, since we're just speculating?
Through speculation, I think I brought it up here. I brought it up here before about witnessing with Black women, right, on the more of the lighter paper bag and the darker skin, it's a different experience. Let's just go. I mean, it is. Like, I know people want to act like it's not. It's a different experience, okay? And dark-skinned women, they do have it hard. They really do. At the same time, we're not going to negate that also light-skinned women get a backlash too, because a lot of times other light-skinned people may have treated her bad. So then she'll meet someone that looks like Jen, and now she has a problem with her just because she represents the people who treated her bad when she was younger. So
say that.
Yeah, I've seen all of that. So all of that exists. I mean, I'm not going to negate anyone's pain and say, well, they have it harder and they have it harder. No, they both have unique experiences that are difficult. I'm going to leave it at that. So with that being said, I can see and understand if that's the case. I'm going to look at it from that standpoint, meaning that she was probably teased about being dark skinned. She was probably, because a lot of times people who look like her, like that grow up and they're tall and statuesque and have these features, typically those weren't celebrated when they were younger, those features. And so, yes, it does come with a level of self-consciousness and things like that. So I'm thinking that's what it was. She's like, wow, my daughter now represents my former bullies. Now, how am I going to handle this? If this coming from that space, that's a beautiful moment. Now, if it's coming from a space of self-hatred, because I can identify with that, I still will say it can have a possibility of a beautiful moment, because awareness is a huge thing. And I know when I got to that place in my life, when I became aware that, oh, wow, my hatred is actually me, like, and anyone who reminds me of me. So, and that's when I from that day, my breakthrough came right after that admission. So I'm just trying to look at it the most optimistic way. But then on the pessimistic side of me, she probably did elaborate to somebody behind closed door. They was like, girl, don't say that. Hold on. Let's clean that up a little bit.
Right. Don't say that shit.
Oh, that's what you meant. Okay, girl, let's sit down with me. We're going to figure this out together. So they're probably sitting down with Olivia Pope right now, trying to put it together.
Right, because everybody is like, what does she mean? What does she mean? And they're calling for her to elaborate. So I'm sure she's going to be very, very careful with her next words, which is a horrible way to live. I could not live like that. And that's why I'm like, I'm okay with being hated, because I'm like, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not even for a check. This is how I am. Take it or leave it. And it's okay if you leave it. But I have to look at myself in the mirror. So I'm not going to change what I think or recant or I'll double down, but I'm not going to apologize or recant. Like, it's like, I'm not part of this cancel culture world, although I love the cancel culture because it's free press, but I'm not going to play your fucking game. I'm not going to play your 24-hour faux outrage game with you. I'm not doing it. I'm not fucking doing it. Before I throw it back to Lily, because I do have questions for you, Lily, but no, what do you have to say about, you know what I mean? Josh. And funny thing is, I said Josh jokingly, and Don Levon said his name is Joshua Jackson.
Oh, wow.
Is his name really Josh?
I thought his last Josh all day.
Right, because I'm like, I thought his last name was Smith. Unless Don is playing, because Don plays too much. Go ahead, No Saint. What do you think?
From what you read, I think that from what you read, that's the way I took it, was that she had issues with people that were lighter than her, probably through I don't know, but maybe for what Lily was saying, maybe she had a hard time with people that were lighter. So unless she explains it, that's kind of how it sounded. Another thing is, I think when people post things like, especially when you're talking about your baby, you're thinking whatever you're saying is a poetic and beautiful, and then people are gonna come at you about it, because I think she was like saying, no, she's opening up this whole new, view of the way she was trying to make it, I think, kind of sweet that now that I have this baby, that's, I understand. And it just, so far hasn't really, from what I'm hearing, it hasn't really worked out for her. But I would go whenever, after you throw it back to Lily, if we're ever going to get into can biracial population heal racism and colorism, I'll go in on that too.
Okay, so this was an interview, just so everyone knows, this was an interview in UK. So this was part of an interview in UK where she said these statements. She just didn't elaborate, which leaves, speculation. And the internet's going to internet, isn't that? Right. But I did want to ask Lily, when you said, I thought it was interesting when you said it really, your issues outside of you turned out to be your issues internally and just people that reminded you of you. Can you explain that to people?
Yeah. So looking at me now, you'll never know this now. But when I was, before transitioning and stuff like that, and before becoming comfortable in my own skin, I always knew who I was, but because of the pushback that society gave me and everywhere I looked and first of all, in the 80s, I didn't see anyone that represented that looked like me, right? Or looked like how I felt inside. So I felt like a straight up alien, right? And then, so you got that. Then the other thing, you have people that you respect in your family, they will make remarks about people who represent how you feel inside. Ooh. And so you're like, oh, so something is wrong with me, right? So then you compound that years after years. So then what happens is, for me and for a lot of other people, because I recognize it the moment I see it, I took on their prejudice. I took on their hate and I turned it internally. And so anytime I saw anyone that was queer, visibly queer, I wanted them as far away from me as possible, because I felt like, oh my God, they're going to bring too much attention my way. I don't want to sit next to them. I don't want to be by them. I don't want to be associated with them. So I'm going to go anywhere, the opposite. And a lot of times this happens even with dark-skinned people, with some Black people in general. This happens. The self-hatred is a real thing. And because I suffered from it, I recognize it the moment I see it. That's why I don't go back and forth with trolls online, because I'm like, child, it's nothing I can say that's going to hurt you more than you're hurting already.
I love it. Before I throw it back to you, because I know you want to comment on it collectively, but I wanted to really pinpoint what you said, Lily. And I say this a lot online to people when they're talking about the LGBTQ, or when they're talking about complexion, or they're talking about hair texture, where they throw things around a lot, or even about sexual assault, dealing with, little boys, girls, women, or whatever, that family members don't realize. And I always say this, be careful of what you're against, because you don't know if you're offending someone that's right next to you, that you're related to. It's so fucking important. I tell people that all the time, especially men who attack the LGBTQ. I'm like, do you know if you have a son or a daughter and they're part of that community and they hear you saying that, like, that shit is just going to grow a seed in them of self-hate. So it's important we point that out. Also, men that are constantly criticizing women who've been sexually assaulted. I said, honey, you better look at the stats of how many women are sexually assaulted and don't say a fucking word. So while you're saying, oh, such and such is just looking for money, why she wait 10 years to do that? You don't know if you're saying that in front of your daughter who got sexually assaulted, and now she's going to, hold that and not say anything because of how her father or her uncle or her brother views women that got sexually assaulted. So you have to be very, very careful. Even in the Latin community, when they talk about complexion and hair, right? Where they say when they talk about Black people a certain way, I've experienced this. Or they talk about hair texture and be like them over there, and I'm like, I'm them over there though. Like it's like when you're talking about them over there, you do realize that you have one living in your house that you're related to, that's using the same hair products, that has the same complexion as the people over there you're talking about. But people separate themselves, especially in the Latin community. It's fucking huge. The bad hair, that we have our own, you know what I mean, brown paper bag test, and don't bring the darkie home because you're already dark. And let's not make that runs rampant also in the Latin community. So you have to be very, very careful what you're saying around the little ones in your family and your relatives, or you know what I mean? Like give them the space to be themselves and also to be able to come to you and say something. Because if a little girl, a woman, your sister, your mother wants to come and confide in you about something that happened, they're not going to do it because they heard you bad mouthing that woman that got sexually assaulted. And it's a horrible thing to do. And then I'll throw the mic to No Saint, but it's the same thing when I went into my journey of atheism, and my uncle's like, oh, you don't celebrate Christmas, and you don't, and what's wrong with you? And you must be cheap. I'm like, bitch, like I'm so far, like that's not what it is, right? But I was I knew that a lot of my family members weren't the ones that I could open up to about this journey. Right. I was like, I ain't even going to go there because you're not going to understand. You're just going to, it's in your head that it's a certain way or no way. So then it's like, that's why we're important. Our existence is important, right? Because we can be the people that we needed for somebody else. And that's why I will not waver. This is where the fuck I am and who I am. And we got to stick to our guns. But I tell people all the time, be mindful of the shit you say out loud, because you don't know if you're hurting someone who's listening. So No Saint, I know you wanted to comment on
I do, but I want to bring a little something else up, because when you were speaking about all this, it's so true what you're saying about I'm just thinking of my own life. Like, for instance, my youngest son, he has a friend at school, and I don't know if this is true or not, right? But he was telling me, whatever, let's say his name was John, John, he's transgender. I said, oh, okay. And when you want to go, when you got his number, you want to go by his house, or, so, and then another thing he said to me one time, he was like, I was like, hey man, you need to start working out a little bit. You got a good build, you need to make sure, because you eat a lot of sugar, you don't want to gain a lot of weight now and stuff. Because girls, he said, well, how do you know I like girls? I was like, I said, well, I don't know, but you did say a couple of weeks ago that you had your eye on a girl. So I was just assuming that you like girls. But just a reaction to say that to him, is a good thing, I think, because now he knows if he is gay or something, he doesn't have to worry about it. It's not a big deal, right? And that's the way it should be, right? So, but what you were saying about, you never know, that's why it's always like, I don't know. That's just the way, I've always kind of been that way anyway, but it's just like, I'm always aware, like you said, you don't want to say something and then, damage that relationship. Because I told Erica this the other day, because sometimes she has a temper. I told her, I said, my grandmother on my dad's side, right? I know this is segue into something, but I'll round the back around. My grandmother, I said, she was, loving woman to me. Never, the thing I remember to this day is when I was 12 years old, and she had gone to the bathroom, I guess, and she got to the car a little late, and I asked where she was, and she was like, I was in the commode, and I didn't know what the commode was. I was like, what's that? She's like, I was taking a shit or whatever. And it killed me, man. I mean, I'd never heard her say anything like that. And I said, she's been dead, I don't know, 15 years or something. I still remember that.
Oh
when
my
I was 12 or 13, because people are going to always remember the things that hurt them or that are negative. That's just how it is. Right. So you always got to watch what you're saying. Now, as far as this topic here on biracial population, heel race, and colorism. So no, it will never do that, because as much as I realize that, white supremacy and Hollywood has made people with the paper bag rules and everything, I think that gets some credit. But I think even if that wasn't a thing, these things are always going to be an issue. People are always going to promote themselves over somebody else, or have a standard and then judge people off of that standard. So we can have as many kids and everybody can come out looking like, like maybe Jen's complexion, for instance, and someone's going to find a way. Like, for instance, when the Irish were coming here before people were white and black, the Irish would call N-words, Italians were looked down upon, and then also they were elevated to white. And so, they made that class system like that. But you're always going to find, no matter what, even if everybody's the same color, you're still going to have some form of, it might not be called racism, but it's going to be some kind of ism. People are going to find a way to single out other people and make them less than, or make them less than, I guess is not a very good thing, but that's what I think.
So do you think, and really quickly, I just wanted, my stats were even worse. It says here, every 68 seconds, another American is sexually assaulted. So please keep that in mind when you are talking about women coming out 5 years later or 10 years later, or what was she wearing, or she just wants money, or she just wants clout. Be very careful, okay?
Because like you said, your door, because a lot of women don't report it because they've heard it from so many different directions, from television, from social media, from people in their family. So when in the event it does happen to them, that's the first place a woman's mind goes to. Am I going to be re-victimized again? And for these men, it's not just your daughter. Your own mother could have gone through it and could be sitting right there, and you don't know. You don't know. Your mother's a woman. Before she's your mother, she's a woman. Your aunt is a woman. Your grandmother is a woman. You don't know what these women are not going to share those things with their sons and their grandsons and their nephews. So like you said, Jen, just be mindful. Please.
Yeah, and that's why I always recommend, if you have if you're a man, you have any relationship, and even with boys, if you have any relationship with the women in your family, sit down on some GP and just be like, have you ever been made to feel uncomfortable around men, mom, or auntie, or sis? I'm just curious. Did a man ever make you feel uncomfortable your entire life? And I promise you, I bet $1 bajillion that woman in your life is going to have a story. She's going to have a story. Every 68 seconds is no fucking joke. So just be mindful of what the hell you say. And also, Lily, what you said about social media, we do have this character, Charleston White, that Don Levon mentioned, and he glorifies sexual assault of women, sexual assault of infants. And this man has a following, a huge following, and a huge following of people that defend him. And he blatantly says infants should be sexually assaulted, blatantly, and double down. Okay. And this man has a following on social media. So this is the thing that our kids are exposed to. So you have to be very careful. Lily, you wanted to say something?
I did. It was something you said. You said, it was the last thing you said before the following. I don't know. I forgot what it was.
About the men talking to the women in their family?
Yes. I don't know. I had a blank. I drew a blank. Don't worry about it.
Okay. It'll come to you.
Yeah.
All right. So going back to what you said, No Saint. So Jodie Turner is saying this can heal her issues with colorism. So do you think it can't heal or cure anything collectively, right? Because there'll always be, people are tribal, right? So if people were green, the purple people would be like, I don't like the green people, right? It's like I remember the Land Before Time, the first one, the little cartoon with the dinosaurs, and the little Stegosaurus was like, my daddy said we shouldn't play with long necks, right? The Brontosaurus or whatever. So people always find a way to hate each other for whatever reason. But do you think individually, like Jodie is saying, well, she literally said, my daughter is going to heal my issues with colorism. Do you think it can happen on an individual level where more people that have mixed children will see color and life differently, and vice versa? People that have dark skin babies will look at things differently because now their dark-skinned child is going to have a different experience and issues coming home from school.
Yes.
Yeah, well, for sure. Individually, I definitely think that plays a part. And you made a perfect point. Someone who might not see, if they grow up in, a white neighborhood and, they hear about racism, but they're thinking it's overblown. And then they get married to someone, have a biracial kid that presents as a black kid or a different race kid. And then he goes through things, and then the parent sees it and understands a lot more. Yeah, absolutely. I agree that kind for an individual, it can definitely help, understand things. And that goes with a lot of things in life.
It does.
It really does. I remember just a quick story, like when you're not a boss, right? And someone makes boss and then they start doing boss things. And you're like, well, that person wasn't like that when he was down here. Now look at him. And then all of a sudden you get made the boss. And then all of a sudden you understand you got people on top of you pushing down too.
Right.
And
Have to
you get a
change.
bigger picture. You get a bigger picture. Oh, now I understand, So yeah, I definitely think in this sense, yeah, individually it could certainly help.
Yeah,
But
that's
as
why.
a collective, no.
No, as
It's
a
always-
collective. Well, that's because humans are assholes collectively. But yeah, that's why I stress when people are like, oh, he got money now, she got money now, she different. Of course, it's a different person,
It's supposed to be.
right? Or she worked out, or he worked out, he lost 50 pounds. Now they're different. It's a different person. With that said, Lily, I know you got to run, Mama, right?
Yeah, I was looking.
So we can close.
Oh yeah, okay.
We can close till tomorrow. So I do want to wrap up and say some things. Don't forget, April 15th is Block Talent Battle. We do have a cash prize. Whatever your talent, hit us up on the block with Jen at Gmail. Send me your picture and what your talent is. We only have 10 slots for April 15th. We only have 10 slots. If it's not you with the talent and you know a friend or family member with talent, please tell them to register on the block with Jen at Gmail. Send a picture and whatever talent they want to do. April 15th, 8 p.m. sharp. On the block with Jen. We're going to do 10 people, but you can wait in the queue. If someone flakes, we will pull you up. We do have a cash prize. You can win $100 for 2 minutes of your time. Okay. We will be critiquing you. The block will be critiquing you, but it's not up to us whether you win or lose. You got to get people here to vote for you. We'll be voting as well. Okay. We'll be voting as well. So the the majority rules. Okay. And then you will win. And also tomorrow we're going over the Burley things. Anything else before we close, guys? This was a great show. Short and sweet. I loved it. Per usual, lots of information and eye-opening statements. And this is all I got to say. Okay. You can't see me, bitch.
I love it. I'm here for it. I was going to actually agree with everything No Saint said. Ditto, kiddo. I totally feel that, like, this is the thing with humans, because we're tribal, and I always say it's much easier to look out the window than it is to look in the mirror. So, people will always focus on you before they focus on them, and they're always going to deflect from whatever issues that they don't want to see within themselves. They're going to find something. It's going to be about your hair, your skin texture, just whatever. That's why people just find a way to be happy in your own skin. Do not wait for other people to celebrate you. It's not going to happen. No one's coming to save you. Figure out how to love yourself.
Hello, No Saints. Any parting words, or are you just going to take us out? Thank you for holding me down, chat. Thank you for the super chats. We will see you tomorrow. Jen, what do you think about Poppy? I don't know who Poppy is, darling. I have no idea who Poppy is.
No, I don't.
All right, No Saints. So
baseball player, but I have no idea.
But Big Poppy, I know who you're talking about, but it's not spelled that way. So I don't know who Poppy is. Who's Poppy? Poppy seeds? Poppy? I don't know what that means.
I don't know her.
I don't know her either.
No, I think
dress warm, Kevin. Dress warm.
Tomorrow, I'll try to get in here. I know I'm going to be at a game tomorrow night again. So with my son, so I'm doing that. But I'll try to check in if you're still going.
Okay.
And yeah, just it's been a great show as usual. And that's it. I think we can wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. All right then. Okay, guys. Good night. We love you all.
Yeah,
Good
we
night.
love you all. Good night.
All right, guys, if you're still here for any reason, hit that like and subscribe for Mama. And thank you for joining me on this Monday night. Don't forget you support the show On the Block with Jen, Cash App. Thank you for holding me down in the chat. And we will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be spicy, okay? Don't forget, check out my community tab section. So like that, you know, the upcoming shows that we have. Please tell people by April 15th, Block Talent Battle up here. And you're going to want to watch this. It's going to be very interesting and entertaining. Are you not entertained? All right, guys. See you tomorrow. Be good. Go get some dinner. Good night.